Dear students, welcome to my session on C programming. This is actually mandatory training on C programming because we are looking job profile in the software domain. Most of the cases they are giving a lot of employability for the people around the world. More than 50% of people are going with the software development or regarding software domain jobs. And if you are considering that software field, programming is the fundamental thing. We are going to use a lot of softwares starting from operating system and application softwares, device drivers and browsers. Then you are going to use gaming softwares. All are they are developed through programs. Then if you want to develop any software, you need to use a programming language, right? So the fundamental programming language, so far still that industry is using C programming, because it is a powerful tool to develop any kind of softwares, because it is a general purpose programming language. Okay, so this is actually second part of third unit. We already gone through and we have experienced assembly language programming for PIC microcontroller. The second part of third unit is embedded C programming for PIC microcontroller. We are going to use embedded C, but why we are going to discuss about C? And embedded C and C, there is no much difference. We are going to use actual C package, and additional some extensions libraries are going to be used for embedded, right? So if you know about C language, then you can write a program for embedded systems using C. If you are going to use C program for embedded system design, so that is called embedded C, obviously, right? For embedded C, to write a program for any microcontrollers or any microprocessors, you can go with C, and some additional packages are required that is very relevant to that particular device. Okay, if you are going with PIC microcontroller, you know that PIC 16F877A.H we are including, right? So those are the library files or header files. They are the mandatory files which needs to be included for the embedded system applications, right? So some extended libraries are to be included along with the C that become embedded C. Okay, right? In our electronics sector, you know, we have two sections, hardware part as well as software part. Hardware part, you know, we are studying PIC microcontroller and microprocessor and digital circuits, right? You need to construct the circuit for your application, and almost all the hardware at present we are using for any system design are programmable, right? So we need to develop code for that hardware to execute our task through that hardware with our software algorithm. So we need to develop software also, okay, for any system design based on embedded system. So in that case, we already know about how to construct the hardware. We already know about how to develop assembly language coding to run the hardware, and here also use another kind of a general programming platform, that is C programming language. In that case, C is the first one, right? We can also going with the Python programming for embedded system. So that C programming is an essential training for electronics graduates. You want to move towards the software industry or maybe the core industry, that means hardware based, hardware design on manufacturing hardwares, then programming is mandatory. Particularly C programming is very, very essential. This is about the contents of third unit. So first part, assembly language program on PIC microcontroller, and the second part of third unit is embedded C fundamentals. So here we are going to discuss about the basic of C programming and the structure of C programming, right? And the components of C program, a lot of things are to be used in C program, variables, constants, comments. We need to use some kind of components or tools or maybe statements to develop the C program, right? How to declare and initiate variables and constant, and how to write comments. Right, comments, actually it is not a statement. As compiler or device is not going to run the comment. Actually comment is for the documentation of the program. So suppose you are working in some software company, you are developing some codes, you are developing, and after completing that module and you want to move to the other company to improve your job position, right? That same place is vacant, and that particular company is going to recruit another person and to continue the project which you already handled. Okay, so if new person is coming to handle that particular project, no comments written in this program, then that person is not going to understand what purpose this program is developed, who has developed this program, and what about the logic behind this. So such kind of difficulty to understand that program. Then if you have developed the documentation for the program, say for example, if you are using comments in your program, a new person is going to take up your project, and he easily understand that program logic and everything about that program. Got my point? How to write comments, so that will be discussed. And operators are used for computation, you know that. That is addition, subtraction, multiplication, division operators, relational operators, logical operators, you know. You already heard about this. Then what about the list of operators and how it will be used in C programming, and what about the precedence of that operators, right, which will be executed first. Suppose you are going to use A plus B into C, A plus B into C, so which one will be performed first? Multiplication has highest precedence, right? So that multiplication is going to be executed, B into C will be evaluated, and that result, that product of that B and C will be added with A. You know that, right? So that will be discussed. And functions or procedures, functions actually a mini module or subroutine, right? So subroutine, you know, subroutine is called here functions. Some particular part of the program will be repeatedly used in your main task. You no need to repeatedly write that same kind of thing n number of times in your main program, right? So you can consider this particular block of statements as a function. Then whenever it requires in your main program, you just call that function. Okay, so whenever it requires, then you can use the calling statement, then function calling statement to call that function, and you can perform the task, right? And procedure, then another kind of thing is also there. Function, procedure, both are very similar. Function is used for computation purpose. It returns value to the main function. Procedure also very similar to the function. It has set of statements, but it does not return any value to the main function, but it is going to return the control back to the main function. Okay, then control statements, right? So control statement is going to execute a block of statement based on the condition, right? If condition is true, that block will be executed. If condition is false, the block will not be executed, right? Executing the statements purely based on the condition, right? So such kind of statements are called control statements. Be able to control the sequence of execution. Actually, CPU is going to, or compiler is going to execute your program in sequential order, right? So first statement, second statement, third statement. So the CPU is not going to skip any statement if it does not comes under the control structure. So this is about the outline of this presentation. Actually we focus on embedded C, but we start with the C programming fundamental and we migrate to the embedded C, right? So course learning outcome, you know, for each and every course we are studying, you know, should have some course outcome, you know that. What purpose you are going to learn this particular course, right? That is what we are going to gain through that course, that is actually course outcome. Synopsis of the module is, this course will provide an exposure on 8-bit PIC microcontroller regarding PIC microcontroller architecture, ASME language programming and peripherals. You will have some exposure on this 8-bit PIC microcontroller, various advanced protocols and interfacing of different peripherals with PIC microcontroller, right? So we are using PIC 16F877A, you know that. So that controller does not have any USB controller on chip, right? But you want to use USB communication, you can interface USB controller with PIC microcontroller and you can do USB communication. Okay, this particular session focusing on CLO3, you are able to write the ASME language program and C programs for any application or any task. So this is actually outcome of this C programming module.